I was thinking about how I wanted to go about this, because my answer to his response could have been so much different. But after watching his response, I feel like I sort of need to set things straight. So here now, before you all go mad in the comments, I want to say this. My response video and this video actually overlap a lot with MainMan's view, because he and I agree on many of Hwoarang's moves that need nerfs. So we are actually closer on the topic than most of you might think. So please actually watch the video and pay attention to what I say, thanking you kindly, and with all that being said, let's skyrocket in. Also, make sure to watch MainMan's response so that you can double check to what I'm referring to. I'll try to go work through this point for point he made or commented on. First up, he called me a fucking loser in clickbaiting that MainMan hates Hwoarang. But his original video on YouTube is literally titled "I hate Hwoarang, let's talk." GG, case closed. But kidding aside, right at the start of his reaction, he's laughing about someone telling him that I cried about his take and said that he lied, and I was like, what? That immediately set the wrong tone for the whole video. From the get-go, it seemed to me MainMan had a defensive approach and was clearly expecting something very different from what my video actually was. He basically says as much toward the end of his reaction with "this isn't it" and "this is your chosen one" and "I'm not impressed." But hold on a second, that's not what my video is about at all. If anything, what I uploaded was just a short clip showing how he technically tried to punish down 3-4 in the wrong way and then showing how to actually punish it. I ask you all to double check that. In no way was I crying, saying he lied or trying to offend MainMan in any way. And the proof is right there, you can literally look it up. Now let's be clear, Hwoarang needs nerfs. His heat counter at launchers are ridiculous, down back forward to flappy is dumb, and so is the 10 frame counter at launcher. There are more moves we agree on that need nerfs, like backlash, down 3+4, or right foot forward, down forward 3, and I made a separate video about those moves. But MainMan portrayed Hwoarang as busted on another level, which just isn't supported by results. Ever heard of facts don't care about feelings? His online win rate is far from top. Now, is he annoying to fight against? Yes, no argument there. But busted on another level, that's personal opinion, not fact. He then goes on saying all Hwoarang players are suffering from brain rot. And yeah, Hwoarang is dumbed down like many characters, I agree. But saying that's because of right flamingo stance 4-3 is unreasonable. I showcase how you can beat his follow-ups with stepping or walking, and the move itself is super linear. In Tekken 8, with all of the bullshit moves characters have, how is right flamingo stance 4-3 the reason Hwoarang players supposedly got worse? If anything, it's because of down back 4 and jab counter launchers in heat. Tekken itself got dumped down. Honestly, Tekken players overall have never looked worse than at Tekken 8. MainMan also says Hwoarang takes no risks and just swings, but risk depends on level of play. This is something that always gets in the way of talking about Hwoarang. In low to intermediate level, Hwoarang should be a god, right? I even said like top 5, but the numbers don't even back that up. Check for yourself. You can say you hate Hwoarang and think he's cheap and annoying to play against, that's all fine. But saying he is super busted on another level is weird when the win rate across all ranks tell a different story. Until God ranks, his win rate is mid at best. But you are right saying that at intermediate level, punish game is weak. You know what else is weak at intermediate level? The understanding of a character and Tekken fundamentals. But at high level, that's not the case. There, Hwoarang is much harder to use effectively, and results and numbers back that up. At God ranks and higher, he's bottom 5. That's why in my video I focused on higher level gameplay and character identity, like I mentioned in that video. Now on identity, MainMan said Hwoarang's identity is doing everything now, and he is right to some extent, because Tekken 8 blurred identity across the whole cast. Great job Bandai Namco, in an era where the community is begging for more unique identity, you made everyone more of the same. Also, MainMan asking why does he have a universal down forward 2 really misses the point I made. He's literally had the down forward 2 years and since older Tekken titles. Why is it suddenly a problem now? Honestly, down forward 2s in general are a problem. They don't fit some character identities like you yourself pointed out with Hwoarang. And seriously, why are down forward 2 safe again? Defensively, Hwoarang isn't great. I'm not talking about heat down back 4 or the 10 frame counter at launcher now on this topic, because we both agree those should have never existed. If anyone still wants to argue for them, good luck with that sinking ship. But let's imagine those 2 moves didn't exist, so outside of that, yes, he has other defensive options, but they are just okay. And that actually suits his identity. His defense should be on the weaker side. Moving on to down 3+4, the homing low. MainMan said it counteracts every counterplay, and that's not true. When he's in Flamingo, you want to step. When he's in neutral, it's different. Now, he can do that move in neutral, but not in Flamingo, so that doesn't counteract everything, and that was the point I was making. Is it an amazing move that needs nerfs? Absolutely. But your reason for why is what I disagree with. And for the record, when I said no one asked for it, but it's just there now, I didn't mean like whatever. I meant this balancing team keeps giving characters busted moves nobody asked for. And I want to be fair here, I'll admit that I worded that poorly, so that's on me. Now let's look into right Flamingo stance 4-3 into down 3-4, because MainMan showcased that in a stream. MainMan said good luck reacting, but that actually wasn't my point. I said the counterplay to that move begins afterwards. Walking and stepping do beat the strong follow-ups, and I made it clear, you step or walk immediately after right Flamingo stance 4-3. Yes, you added that this is strict, and I agree with you there. Now, could stepping be made a little easier there? Sure, I'm not against that idea, but being able to step and beat his strongest options is fair enough in my opinion. Now, whether you step right to avoid a jab or step left to avoid basically everything else is on you to decide. But let's be honest, it's not a jab that drives people insane against Hwoarang, it's the constant pressure and mix-ups. And those are beaten by my suggested stepping or walking approach and not by yours. At the end, he asked, where did you even show weaknesses? Being weak to stepping or walking is a weakness though. You as a Mishima player should know that. Hwoarang also has to commit in many situations high risk, high reward. Now, I get that high risk, high reward is more of a playstyle than a weakness, but it naturally comes with a weakness or with flaws. Hwoarang can't just stop pressuring in Flamingo, he has to commit to something, and stuff like stepping, walking, down jabs or ducking are answers to that. And there are many Hwoarang players out there who struggle to find solutions when the opponent knows how to play this counter. At the top level, this is also the reason why Hwoarang players like Edge are not pressuring non-stop with Unga Bunga. Those are weaknesses whether you want to count them or not. And about me saying they made Hwoarang more steppable and that's good for the haters but bad for the Hwoarang players, I also said that's where we get challenged the most and grow with our main, so therefore I like it the way it is. That part was completely ignored, misinterpreted, misheard and then joked about, which is very unfortunate. Now look, my response wasn't me being butthurt or defending busted stuff. It was me showing counterplay, explaining identity and talking about different levels of play. If you think my video wasn't it, then I think your reaction also wasn't it, because it missed the point entirely. Still, I want to thank you for watching and responding to my video. I do believe we actually agree on more stuff than we disagree on. It's just unfortunate that my points didn't come across the way I intended, and now a lot of people in your stream think I'm just a douche and many other things. I do not really care about that, I just think this could have played out way differently if you had paid a little more attention to what I was actually trying to say, as in fact I agree with most of the moves you want to see nerfed. When I say that, I mean that with all due respect. But for some reason the attention wasn't quite there, the tone was off from the beginning, and maybe you had different expectations. It seemed to me like you were ready for an anti-MainMan meltdown or whatever, and so some of my statements were misinterpreted or not heard at all. It's unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. And with all that being said, thank you all for watching, listening to me, and I'll see you in the next one.